Hi everyone, welcome to Simply a Breeze. My name is Bree if you are new here. Today we are actually going to be making dinner in the Instant Pot. So what this whole video is going to be is a week of meals. It's just going to be Monday through Friday of meals that you can make after work that are quick, easy, and convenient to make and don't take a lot of effort on your part. So what inspired me to do this video is I commute an hour one way to work. We live outside of the Denver area, but I do commute to the other side of the city every other day. So I want to take you along with how I have figured out how to make sure we have meals on the table at a reasonable hour that don't take me too terribly long to prepare on days that I have to go in. I will also take you along on the days that I work from home because those days are a little more convenient. But any of these meals I'm doing these specifically to be a convenience to you if you also have a commute to and from work and you need something quick and easy to take care of. So today's meal is actually a recipe from Becky at Acre Homestead. She made this recipe and I thought it was delicious. Plus it's a great way for me to use up my salsa verde aside from just eating it with chips. So if you have any tips on how to use up salsa verde outside of eating it like a salsa with chips, please drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear the options. But this is basically like, we're gonna call it like a white chicken chili. For lack of a better word. I think she has a different name for it. I don't know what it is. But I have 4 chicken breasts here. I'm actually only going to use 2, and these other 2 I'm going to use for another meal that I'm going to use as kind of like a meal prep for myself later on. I'll take you along with that video as well, but that's going to be separate from this one. So we're going to use 2 chicken breasts, and we are going to use my Instant Pot. If you watched my last video, I talked to you about how much I love my Instant Pot. My Instant Pot has been a game changer for me back when I worked a full-time job, had an internship, and was going to school, and it's a game changer for me still now that I commute the way that I do. If you do not have an Instant Pot, this can also be a crock pot meal, okay? So you don't have to have an Instant Pot to make this dish. This can 100% be a crock pot meal as well. I'm just going to use it in the Instant Pot because it is already after 6:30 and we would like to eat well before 8 o'clock if possible. So what I'm going to do is basically, this is dump and go. So I'm going to take you along with me on things I'm going to throw in there. The great thing is you can kind of like adapt this recipe however you want. I also have a bunch of corn that I need to use up, which was part of the reason I looked this recipe up to begin with, because I needed to use up corn and I needed to use up some salsa verde. So if this is something that you are interested in, please come along with me, join me, and let me know what you think at the end. But this is day 1, this is Monday, and I'm going to take you all the way through Friday on what I am going to be making for the week. So first of all, I have some broth. I don't remember if it's beef or if it's chicken, but it's a broth that I need to use up. So into the Instant Pot, we're going to dump the rest of that broth, and I can open another one if need be. We're going to open a can of corn, and I'm going to keep the liquid in here for all of these because it's just going to add to the flavor. I'm going to just do a thing of canned corn. I'll set that over there. Normally, I think the recipe calls for white beans. I don't have any more white beans in the house, so my choice was a butter bean or a small red bean. So we're going to give these red beans a try, and we're going to see if they work out or not. Got a nifty little can opener that my parents got me. We're going to add some diced tomatoes because I like the element they add. And we're going to add some salsa verde. There we go. And then last, I'm going to cut open this chicken, and I'm going to throw 2 chicken breasts just straight into the Instant Pot. The great thing about the Instant Pot is it's going to do all of the cooking for us, and then that way, when this is done, all I need to do is shred up the chicken. And this chicken is not fully thawed, but cooking it in the Instant Pot, it'll thaw and fully cook in no time. You and I actually cut up this, these chicken breasts are from a whole chicken that I purchased on discount at King Soopers, which is like a Kroger or Fred Meyer, wherever you are. But I got it on discount and I butchered out the bird and I ended up with 4 chicken breasts because I butchered out 2 of the 3 birds that I purchased. So that's what this is. I'm going to use these other 2 for another meal later on. Okay, so I'm going to add a couple of things. The salsa verde was already seasoned, but we're going to season the rest of the dish. So I'm going to add a little bit of oregano. If I'm being completely honest, I don't remember the exact recipe anymore and I kind of just wing it now. So I will link the recipe below, but just know I am likely deviating and adding my own twist and flair to this. So I'm going to add some salt. I'm going to add some garlic powder. I'm going to add some onion powder. And last, I'm going to add cumin. I'm really enjoying adding cumin to these types of dishes. It just really boosts the flavor in my opinion, but that's just a personal preference. But I do think cumin is part of the recipe. But as you can see, I'm definitely not measuring. Okay, so now let me get this over here. I'll properly store that here in a minute. So now, ooh, that already smells good. I'm going to pop my Instant Pot lid on. I'm going to plug the cord in to the back of my Instant Pot. I'm going to plug the Instant Pot into the wall. I'm going to make sure that the Instant Pot is set to seal. I made sure that's on, and I'm going to hit pressure cook. And I'm going to pressure cook for probably the chicken was mostly thawed, so I don't have to worry about trying to thaw the chicken. We'll go ahead and we'll do 20 minutes just to be on the safe side. And then if you don't want it to keep warm when you're done, you can turn that off. I don't mind it keeping warm when I'm done, so I'm just going to hit start. And then this is going to come to pressure, and then after it comes to pressure, it's going to cook for about 20 minutes. And then after it's done, I'm going to let it naturally depressurize for about 5 minutes, and then I'll release the pressure so that way I can open the lid again. So when this is done and ready to go, I will bring you back. So I will see you guys in just a lick of time. The Instant Pot is finally depressurized, so we can go ahead and open it up and we can put the finishing touches on this dish. First things first is we're going to shred up the chicken. I'm going to grab 2 forks. And this chicken is fully cooked. And I'm just going to go ahead and shred this chicken on up. Okay, now that our chicken is shredded, I'm going to hold off on adding it real quick. So I am going to add what's left of my cream cheese. It needs to be used up. So we're going to go ahead and just going to put it into chunks. There we go. And that can go in the trash. And also, I don't have sour cream in the house, but I do have Greek yogurt. And I am going to use the Greek yogurt in place of the sour cream. I'm probably going to add the equivalent about maybe half a cup or so. And we're going to go ahead and also add the chicken back in to the throwing chicken everywhere. Sounds about right. Cool, cool. All right, and that's all there is to it. Let me take you in and show you what this looks like. So it's not like a nice kind of chicken chowder. It's almost like a chowder, it's almost like a chili, it's got some spice. And then you would want to go ahead and taste to see if it's seasoned properly. But that's all there is to this dish. It's a very simple dish. My fiance likes to eat it with some tortilla chips. You can eat it with tortillas. You can eat it just like this. You can put more sour cream on it. I'm gonna put cheese on it as well to add to like the nice creaminess that there is. This overall only took about 10 minutes of my actual time. I could do other things while this was coming to pressure, and while it was cooking I was actually able to get caught up on dishes, get the dishwasher unloaded, loaded back up, and any dishes that needed to be cleaned outside of that I cleaned and tidied up. And then my fiance and I were able to kind of catch up on the day and everything as well while this was cooking. So it saved me a lot of valuable time instead of being in the kitchen and just worrying about dinner, which is why I love these types of meals and why these meals are so important to me. So I will see you guys tomorrow for what we're having for dinner on Tuesday. I believe we're going to be making fish. Hello everybody, it is Tuesday. I have already gone for my run, we're done with work, it's time to get dinner going, and dinner should take us probably, I think we cook it for about 30 minutes. So dinner's about to come together really quickly, so let me tell you what we're having. We are actually going to be having a lake trout that we caught this past winter while we were ice fishing. So we like to stock up on our lake trout, and this is a really nutritious meal, but it's also a really quick meal, especially because some of them we only head, so we'll head them and gut them, and then we just wrap them in foil with some butter and some seasonings, and we call it a day, and it just cooks for 27 minutes. So I'm going to show you what we do, I'm going to take you along with that and how we prep it. And I'm also going to pair this with rice and then just a frozen vegetable. So this meal comes together really easy, really quickly, and it's pretty hands-off once you get everything going. Okay, so we personally really like a good Southwest seasoning on our fish. It's a really nice flavor. So this is what I'm going to be using. This seasoning, however, does not have salt, so I will add a little bit of salt. And I think my fiance said he added just a little bit of dill last time as well. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've got my scissors. I packaged the fish up after we process them. I put them in a food saver bag. That way they are good to go until we're ready to use them. I'm just gonna set that right there. Okay, so we're gonna lay the foil out. Fish out. We're gonna set that in the sink real quick. Let me make sure we don't need. I'm gonna give this fish a bit of a rinse, so there's still a little bit of blood in the spine, and I'm gonna see if I can get some of that out. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to pat the inside of the fish dry, because it's gonna put off a bunch of moisture It's going to put off a bunch of moisture anyways while it's cooking, so we're going to help reduce that just a little bit. And I think I'm going to use what's left of this butter. Okay, we're just going to hold the fish open, and we're going to plop chunks of butter on the inside. And then we're gonna open our chipotle. Ooh, that was a little much. It's okay. We're gonna lightly salt it. We're gonna apply just a little bit of dill. And we're gonna close it on up. Then all I'm gonna do is close up the foil so that way the fish steams and we're not gonna dry it out. But that's all the prep I do for the fish. As soon as the oven comes to temperature, I'll put it into the oven. All right, our oven is to temperature. We're gonna put the fish in and we're gonna cook it for about 27 minutes. And while our fish is cooking, I'm also gonna get the rice cooking as well. That way they can both finish at the same time and we're not waiting on something to finish on up. And I'm only gonna cook up half a cup of rice. And we'll go ahead and we'll add some water. And I am going to add a couple of seasonings to this as well. I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic. And some turmeric powder. Because turmeric has a lot of beneficial medicinal properties, to include reducing inflammation. Okay, we're gonna close this. We're gonna get her plugged in. I'm just gonna flip the switch and we're gonna set it and forget it until this goes off. Okay, so the rice just finished. I went ahead and I took it out of my rice cooker and I just put a lid on it. The rice cooker retains a lot of heat, so even though it's off and it's not cooking anymore, it can burn the bottom. That's specific to my rice cooker. I think newer, more modern rice cookers don't have that issue, but you can let me know in the comments below. And we've got just about 5 minutes left of the fish, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my broccoli and my cauliflower cooking in the microwave. That way it's done right as the fish is done. All right. Our fish should definitely be done. The vegetables are also done, and I'm going to bring you in and I'm going to show you how we check to make sure that the fish is fully cooked. This is very, very hot. If you did this method, be very, very careful. Not only trying to open this, but as you open this and it's going to release a bunch of steam, that steam is also incredibly hot, so please be very careful. Alright, generally, if you can pull the skin off like this, it means the fish is fully cooked. But another way that you can tell to make sure that the fish is cooked is it separates smoothly, so it like flakes like that. So that is how you tell that the fish is done. One of the great things about this meal and all of these meals that I'm going to take you along with is, for the most part, they're hands off, but you can also get other things done while you're waiting on them to cook. So the past 2 nights I've been able to go ahead and get the dishwasher unloaded and all dishes put into the dishwasher. Okay, so it didn't stay in a beautiful fillet. That's okay, because we got it to separate from a lot of those bones. Not all of them, there's still going to be bones in here. Like there's bones right there. But now, all I got to do is gently lift There we go. That's how we do that, I think. And that's all there is to this meal. In all, it probably put maybe 10 minutes of work on my part, but it came together in 30 minutes. I was able to get other things done while this meal was cooking, and we're gonna have a very nutritious and delicious meal for the night. So I will see you guys tomorrow for what we're cooking for dinner on Wednesday. Okay, so we're having dinner a little bit late today. We got the opportunity to go ahead and go hunting after work. So it is now 8:39 and I'm just getting dinner started. So this is one of my absolute favorite go-to convenience meals that I can make from scratch, with the exception of the pasta. And it's healthy, convenient, we don't have to eat out, and it comes together in about 15 minutes, okay? So we're making spaghetti, because spaghetti doesn't take any brain power. I've got pre-made spaghetti sauce already. I just need to brown the meat and cook the noodles and throw it all together, and we are set to go. So if you didn't know already, I'm all about convenience meals, and spaghetti is one of my absolute favorites. So we got a little bit of salt in our water. We're gonna go ahead and get this boiling. I'm gonna go ahead and get the skillet on the other burner, and I'm gonna get that heating up, and then I'll get the ground beef out, and we're gonna season it all. So I'll take you along with me while I do that. And if you didn't know, spaghetti is still an easy convenience meal when the ground beef is not completely thawed. This is still just slightly frozen, and that's okay. It's still gonna cook up just fine without too much of an issue. I'm gonna set that right there for now. We're going to need onion powder, garlic powder, salt. I have pepper right here. I'm going to want basil. I'm going to want some oregano. Maybe a little bit of thyme. Maybe just a dash of rosemary, because I still need to season my spaghetti sauce. And I have 2 jars of spaghetti sauce that I canned up from last year's garden season. So if you didn't know already, Reed and I are hunters. This is our 2nd year attempting to turkey hunt. It is turkey season right now, and so we are learning a new area to go turkey hunting, and we were legally allowed to hunt until 7:42, and then it took us just under an hour to get home. So we're eating late because of that, but we still made the conscious choice to eat from home because we have plenty of food at home, and I already had ground beef pulled out, so what better meal to make than spaghetti that'll come together in 15 minutes, and it probably saved us almost $20 in the process. So if you're ever in doubt and you need something quick and easy, I always go with spaghetti. And I am actually out of spaghetti noodles, and that's totally fine. We're just going to use a package of noodles, and it's going to work perfectly. So our skillet is hot. Food. So we're going to add a little bit of oregano here. We're going to add some salt. A little bit of thyme. Lots of garlic powder. Basil from the garden. A little bit of crushed up rosemary. pepper. And then onion powder. Now we're going to mix it all up. Okay, the ground beef is browned and our water is at a boil. So now we're going to go ahead and just dump in the whole thing of pasta. And then this will cook for about 11 minutes, and then everything just needs to be combined and your spaghetti is ready to go. And now that the sauce is in here, we're going to season it one more time just to make sure it's got some good even flavor throughout the whole dish. And I'm going to add all the same ingredients that I added to the ground beef. Okay, so I'm going to let all of these flavors infuse and then I'll give it a taste test to see if I need to tweak anything. And always make sure you stir your pasta after you add it to the water. It'll help prevent the noodles from sticking to one another. Okay, we're going to give this a taste test to see if we need to season it anymore. But it is very, very hot. I think it just needs more salt. I taste all the other flavors in there. The salt should help just bring those out a little bit more. And I'm not sharing this spaghetti with anybody else other than Reed, so I'm going to put the spoon back in it. Yeah, that flavor is much better. So we're going to turn this off, and this is just going to be added to the noodles once the noodles are done cooking and I've strained them off. Okay. Just going to combine everything on up. And then we're just going to mix. We're going to let the flavor just incorporate. But that came together in 20 minutes. It didn't take a whole lot of work, and you didn't really have to think too terribly much about it. So we are going to eat an incredibly late dinner, and I will see you guys tomorrow with what we're cooking up for dinner. Something that's quick, easy, and pretty hands-off, and it's going to cook all day. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. Hello, welcome back. It is Thursday, and we are going to be getting a roast browned on up, and then we're going to stick it in the slow cooker, and it's going to cook all day while I am working. So I want to make sure I get my skillet nice and hot, and then we are going to go ahead and brown the 2 roasts that I pulled out. These roasts are really small. They're less than 2 pounds a piece. So I'm going to make 2 of them up. That way we can have leftovers. I'm really trying to focus on making sure we have leftovers. That way I have lunches to eat throughout the week and I'm not eating out. So this only takes probably 15 minutes of prep work, and then the slow cooker is going to do all of the rest of the work, which is why this is one of This is a really nice convenience meal to make, or it's not necessarily convenience. This is a really nice, easy meal to make because it's mostly hands-off. Okay, so we're gonna get these packages opened on up. And I am going to brown the meat unseasoned, and then I will go ahead and add all the seasonings and everything once we're done. And the trick to browning your meat is you want the pan to be really hot because you just want to sear the outside. It's going to really add to the flavor of the final roast. But if you don't have the time to sear your meat, I just recently learned that searing your meat is a typical practice when you're making a roast. Up until probably the last year, I never seared my roasts. I literally just dumped them in the crock pot and I called it a day. So if you don't have time to sear, you don't necessarily have to. It does help boost the flavor profile, but in all honesty, it's not going to change the way that the roast is going to cook up. It'll still fall apart for you. So that is still an option that you can take. You do not have to sear the roast if you don't have the time to do so. But I have a little bit of time, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that taken care of real quick. I don't know if you can tell if it's picking up in the camera or not, but my skillet is starting to smoke, so it's nice and hot. Now all I'm gonna do is place the roast into the skillet. And then the other day, I cooked up some short ribs, and there is still some beef broth left over from that. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the beef broth to deglaze the skillet when we're done, and then I'm going to cook the roasts in this, and nothing's gonna go to waste. Okay, so we're flipping our roasts now. And generally that's the flavor we're trying, or that's the color we're trying to achieve. And that is some really good flavor that we're gonna add to the overall dish. And the color on this is just absolutely amazing. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna plop these two roasts into the crock pot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and deglaze this pan because that's all flavor. And this pan is very hot. As soon as I add this liquid, this is going to splatter everywhere. Then we'll add the rest of this to that. And that's just a fat layer. And take now I'm going to go ahead and just dump all of this into the crock pot. And I'll come clean this up when we're done. But now that skillet is pretty clean compared to what it was, and that's why you add the liquid, and then all of the flavor that from the scraps that stuck to the pan, it's all gonna now go into the flavor of our roast. Now all we're gonna do is we're gonna plop this in here. I'm gonna go ahead and add some carrots. now I'm gonna season everything. So we're gonna add some onion powder. You could add fresh onions in here too, but I kind of want to use this onion powder up a little bit, so we're gonna add that. We're gonna add some garlic powder. I'm very heavy-handed with my garlic. You do not need to be this heavy-handed if you don't want to be. I'm gonna add some salt. It got really smoky in here, so I had to open up the window to help clear out some of the smoke in the house. Just a little bit of thyme. Some rosemary. A little bit of oregano. And turmeric powder. Roast is a wonderful thing to have turmeric powder with, in my opinion. And then we're gonna add some black pepper. Okay. Now, I'll let this fat layer just melt a little bit, and I'll come back in a couple of hours and I'll flip this. I personally need to use the crock pot on days I work from home just because I end up being gone for over 10 hours and that's way too long for me to run this particular crock pot. There's no delay on it. So I run it on days that I work from home because I can keep an eye on it because it does run a little warm. But I'm about to turn it on to low heat and it'll cook for the next 7 to 8 hours. Okay, so I will show you what this is looking like once it is done and what we're gonna pair it with to complete dinner. And that'll take probably another 10 to 15 minutes to throw together, so nothing too intense. So it's a nice, easy meal. All right, everyone, dinner is done. It smells amazing. It looks amazing. And tonight we're just keeping it really simple. We have a lot to do today. And so I put some carrots in here already, so that's gonna be our vegetable. I'm gonna shred up this beef. And as kind of like our carb, I have homemade bread that I pulled out of the freezer. We're gonna slice it up and we're gonna have some freshly made bread along with our dinner tonight. So let me show you how tender this meat is. Oh, beautiful. Pull apart tender. It's gonna be absolutely perfect. Let me give it a taste test. Let me see how this turned out. It was perfect. It was cooked fabulously. It's cooked all the way through. It is pull apart tender. So all I'm gonna do is slice up this bread, get it all toasted, and then I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh. Hi everyone, welcome back. It is Friday, and so the last meal of the week that I'm preparing for you. And today is actually something that I'm just completely winging. I had chicken breasts that I needed to make up, and the point of this video was quick and easy dinners that I can do in about 30 minutes or less. And my original plan for this chicken had to change. I was originally going to use it for meal prep, but it needed to be used and I haven't had time to get that meal prep done. So we're going to use it up now for dinner. Tonight we are making chicken wraps. So that it's quick and easy. I've got tortillas, I've got lettuce, we've got tomatoes, we have ranch all in the fridge, and I'm debating cooking up some bacon so we can have a little bit of bacon with our chicken wraps. But all I need to do is cook the chicken and then just assemble everything. So it's not gonna require a whole lot of work. So if you're ever in need of something and you happen to have tortillas on hand and you have some chicken, make up a chicken wrap. So tonight's gonna be a quick and easy meal. Originally I was gonna do pizza, but I don't have crust. I don't have dough ready. So, and I, as tempted as I was to go get us a pizza tonight because I have a lot of other things to do today, we're gonna grill it. We're not gonna grill. We are gonna pan sear up some of this chicken. So Okay, so this chicken was originally thawed out, but it appears to have frozen because I have meat thawing in the fridge, and it appears to have refrozen. That's okay. It's still gonna cook up, I think, just fine. Oh my goodness. I was not prepared for this. I thought it was completely thawed. All right, well, this is gonna be fun. So I think what I'm gonna do then, because it is still, because it is now refrozen, I'm gonna go ahead and chop this up into slices and then pan sear it, and it'll cook much faster. And all I'm gonna do is slice it into just chicken slices. And we don't really necessarily care if there's a little bit of fat on the chicken. There's not enough for it to be significant, in all honesty. So I don't cut it off. I don't feel the need to waste any part of the bird. So if you like to cut the fat off, that's fine. I prefer not to. Okay, while we're doing this, let me get the skillet. Okay, I've got the skillet on medium-high heat, so that can get nice and hot as well. I'm going to use good quality butter. I like to buy the Kerrygold butter, but you can use whatever butter you have on hand, or you could use olive oil, avocado oil, or a different kind of oil as well. I'm probably going to do about 3 tablespoons of butter. And we'll start there, and then we'll add more if we need to add more. And I have some seasonings that I need to use up. I'm torn between the lemon pepper and a Cajun. I think we're gonna do the Cajun. Now, I'm just gonna slide the chicken on in. And then I want the Cajun to cook into the flavor, so we're just gonna go ahead and add that now as well. I wanna make sure all of the pieces of chicken are laying flat onto the skillet. Since this is only the equivalent of 2 chicken breasts, it should all fit, okay? And then while this is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and prep our lettuce, get our tortillas out, and make sure we have enough ranch. Okay, so we have some ranch. And we've got some cheese. And I think I'm gonna, I may just thinly slice the cheese. And then we don't have to get the shredder all dirty. Okay, so not browning up just yet. I want to try and get these nice and browned before I flip them. So they're going to have to sit here for a little bit longer. And then I convinced myself, this is for the jalapeno poppers that I'm gonna make later on, but I can go ahead and use 2 strips of bacon to add to our wraps. Perfect. This is just about done. Oh, we've got beautiful browning on the chicken. This is great. We're going to get some of these pieces flipped over so I can get them finished up. Some of these bigger pieces, I'm just worried about them not being fully cooked just yet. So I'm just trying to make sure I've got the big chunks cooked all the way through. But some of these smaller pieces I know are done. So we'll go ahead and take those off. And then let's go ahead and add two pieces of bacon. Our chicken is fully cooked. We're just waiting on the bacon now, and dinner's practically ready. Dinners don't have to be incredibly complicated. Please stop. All right, the bacon is now done. And that's it. That's all we have to prep for dinner now. And we just need to assemble. Okay, so dinner is ready to be assembled. All we're gonna do is put everything into a tortilla with some washed lettuce in our tortillas and some cheese and some leftover spreads and some ranch, and we're gonna call it a day. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comments below and give me a thumbs up if you thought that this was helpful. But dinners don't have to be complicated. That's part of my whole reason for wanting to make this video, was that you do not need to make complicated dinners. Dinners can be simple and they can be quick. And I pulled this dinner literally out of a hat as soon as I came home because I didn't know what I was going to make tonight for dinner. So hopefully you find this inspirational or at least relatable, because I'm here to tell you it is 100% possible. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.